think that's possibly Miggle. Anyway, so welcome back everybody. You're watching the Premier League Season 3. My name is Triumph-Man and I will be casting this match between Team Dignitas on the Dire and Absolute Legends on the Radiant. Now we do have a stand-in for AL. They do have, I'm fairly sure that's Miggle standing in there for Vigos, however. First ban here to the Radiant side. Now what are they going to get rid of here? And I should mention that game number 1 we are on an EU server. This will be flipped around to an NA server in game number 2. This time around Dignitas going to have to... They're going to be on the second pick here, and we're going to open up with a Templar Assassin ban. Kind of expecting Batrider to disappear in here somewhere as well, possibly Jakiro. And we'll see if there are any respect bans thrown out in a second as well. Of course, we've seen Fogged play a lot of Shadow Fiend recently. There's the Batrider getting banned as well. Now, will we see the poor old Jakiro and or actually possibly Rubik as well? Rubik has been eating some first bans. Well, less so now. Darkseer, of course, also high up on list of priorities to ban out ASAP. Kind of expecting him to disappear as well. So we'll see in just a moment.
10 seconds remaining.
Apparently we are missing Vigos tonight for Absolute Legends.
5 seconds. 5 seconds remaining.
See AL though. They are going to spend a little bit of time in their overtime now.
Reserve time.
We'll see where they're going with their first pick in just a moment. We're going to see what they decide to finish banning off against Dignitas. Dignitas they tend to pick slightly different things compared to oh, and I've just noticed that Way Too Sexy's name has not updated. That person there, that is Way Too Sexy. Unfortunately, you'll see his name is a little dodgy in a moment. But there we go. Jakiro being banned, of course, probably the most popular support right now. And there's that Darkseer banned on top of that. So they're getting rid of those AoE heroes. We'll see what AL decide to go with their first pick. I think we'll probably see this. I think AL are likely to go with a hard carry here just because they tend to favour that sort of style of play. I don't think we'll see a lot of early aggressive play from them. I think we'll see AL mostly fairly defensive.
10 seconds remaining.
Bounty Hunter.
And there we go. Oh, okay, I could be completely incorrect then. Bounty Hunter has been the first pick for AL. So they've got their Suicide Solo there. And of course, Bounty Hunter is some really nasty... And we've seen exactly how nasty Bounty Hunter has been in the last couple of times, actually getting banned out quite frequently in the early phase, especially against some of those really, really early aggressive teams. People are getting really worried about the buffs that Trax gives. Plus, of course, the snowball that you can cause with the gold income. But the double pick now
10 seconds remaining.
for Dignitas. Are we going to see a nice big combo? Or are they just going to go with some fairly safe stuff like a support and then some kind of flexible solo?
Reserve time.
That said, they want Rubik. Rubik is definitely there and available. That said, well, Track is there, although it's kind of hard to get your hands on. Bounty Hunter tends to throw that from a distance. Velga Wisp picked up first, and Sven then picked up by Dignitas. I think someone might have been watching a bit of No Tidehunter there, but here we go. Wisp and Sven being played by Dignitas here. We'll see exactly how nasty this can get, but this means Dignitas are going to be fairly active in the early mid-game. And this could get messy for AL. They want to be active as well with their ganks, but with Sven and Wisp, it's going to be a little bit tough because every time they go for a gank, Sven and Wisp can come out of nowhere and just jump in on top of them and go for the counter gank there. And of course, things can backfire quite quickly. If you go run for a ganking lineup and you screw up a few ganks in a row, it can start to snowball out of control in the wrong direction. Can't hear the caster in Dota TV. Let me double check.
Reserve time.
Chaos Knight being picked up by AL though. They're going for... Wow, they are going quite aggressive indeed. Chaos Knight, Lena and Bounty Hunter. Let me just double check my settings. 1 second. Excuse me.
10.
Radiant team ban.
Anyway, so, excuse me, fix the sound issue there. I just had the wrong settings. Actually, let me just double check that last little one again. Whoops, go away. Yep, that should be correct. Okay. Alright then, so, bands continued on. We do have Queen of Pain banned out there as the third band. It looks like AL are getting rid of those early gank-oriented heroes. And of course, the AoE from Queen of Pain, quite powerful, and she will be an excellent solo mid. There we go, Dignitas though, going with the Chen pick as well. This is going to be a fairly scary... It's going to be a fairly scary top lane, I think, for Absolute Legends. Bounty Hunter's really going to have to watch himself. If he gets caught out by the stun, he's in some serious trouble. Of course, he does have the Windwalk, however, if he gets too close, he'll get hit before the fade time kicks in. It might be a bit of a problem there. Now, Chen, of course, is going to be putting a lot of pressure. I think the biggest thing he has to worry about, though, is not so much ganks. He has to worry about losing a couple of towers really early on and feeding Sven a lot of money and just allowing them to get a lot of map control. Once they start losing those towers, protect them and protect their farms. So we're going to see Sven sitting up there quite a lot farming. Wisp will just take him on ganks. Of course, Chen, Sven, and Wisp, they can push fairly easily. They're going to have a lot of armor buffs there from Sven as well, especially if we see an early Basilius from someone else. But we do have the Queen of Pain, as well as the Broodmother being banned by Dignitas here. I'll just check that... we're still saying... Okay, they should be able to hear me in a sec. Alright, Enchantress being banned up by Dignitas, though, just making sure Enchantress can't go and mess with Chen at all, as well as the fact that it would be a fairly annoying hero to have pop out of the jungle and just continually harass them and push down that safe lane tower, rather that suicide lane tower for Dignitas. Now, we've got the last ban here from Absolute Legends. I'm just looking at this lineup here. Dignitas, they've got their support sorted out. They're looking for solos, the Suicide as well as the Solo mid. You see this is why they banned Broodmother as well as Queen of Pain, but there are still plenty of good heroes left for Suicide roles. They want, okay, they're going to ban off the Brewmasters, get rid of one of those team fight oriented heroes, which is not a bad plan, especially since Brewmaster could quite easily solo mid. Then they pick up a Suicide solo to take the side lane, and then basically Brewmaster acts as a huge deterrent in the middle of it, like for early team fights, gives them a lot of firepower. You can pick up a hero like a key hero like Chaos Knight and just keep him out of the fight. Okay, they can hear me in chat. They can hear me now in game. Fantastic. I find it interesting that Dignitas, they have banned out the Tinker. Looks like they're worried about that March Machine spam can be somewhat frustrating to try and push against early on. Dirge also being banned out. Absolute Legends not going to have their chance to pick up that. We want Sony playing this winner or not. Well, this could be... We'll see what Come With Me play. I think Come With Me might be on the Chaos Knight. We could be seeing Sony on the win runner this time around, but we'll see. Of course, not sure where Miggle's going to play just yet. But Dignitas, though, they are banning out those really, really annoying pushes and early teamfight deterrents. Of course, March Machines and the Tombstone really nasty to try and go into an early 5v5 if they're spamming, or rather spamming March Machines, or there's a Tombstone put in a good location. Preferably somewhere safe, where it's not just going to get 3 hit by Sven.
5 seconds remaining.
We see now... Fourth pick here for Dignitas. They need a solo mid, and unless they're planning for some crazy dual mid, they're looking for a solo mid as well as a Suicide solo here. So they do need a couple of good solo heroes. Now we have got several things. I mean, they could go for anything crazy. We could even see something like a Shadow Beam get thrown in the mid, although I would doubt that actually, because they have Chaos Knight and Lina, which is a perfect possibility for a dual mid. In fact, that might be something that's playing on Dignitas' mind at the moment. The fact that Chaos Knight and Lina could quite easily be getting tossed, or rather, Chaos Knight could be getting thrown into almost a solo mid. Lina, often we see her actually wind up pulling in the jungle. She goes to that easy lane, cuts down the trees on the Radiant side with Light Strike Array, and then starts pulling that easy wave, that easy camp to creep after stacking, or even just double pulls into the hard camp as well. Really denies a lot of experience there. So I think Dignitas is going to be looking for a very strong, very survivable mid. In fact, Queen of Pain really would have fit the bill there, but unfortunately... Excuse me. Ban the porn links in chat. After we bookmark them, of course, but no. We see the Omni Knight picked up by Dignitas. Alright then.
Team pick.
Interesting decision. This is definitely going to make Sven. And we're talking about, we were talking last time about Sven going to Hulk mode. Wisp and Omni Knight kind of give Sven the ability to go into Hulk mode without actually buying any items here. Of course, Omni Knight with the Repel simulates the BKB, and then Wisp with his tether, well, that simulates a Mask of Madness as well, both the attack speed as well as the fact that instead of making him more vulnerable, makes him less vulnerable to getting hurt, as well as also giving the movement speed buff. But of course, you've got to time it right. If you mess up the timing, you can actually screw up Sven by debuffing some of his abilities there, so you've got to be really careful with that, with the repel. Of course, a lot of people forget, like, they see a teammate who's, like, got a haste route or something, and they go, let me help you out in this fight, and throw a repel on him, and then completely screw him over. It's actually fairly heartbreaking to watch sometimes. However, final pick here for Absolute Legends. What are they going to go with now? One last pick here. Let's see what they decide to go with. They've got Windrunner for the solo counts. It looks like they're looking for a secondary support, possibly even a jungler of some type. They've got Enigma left on the board. They want to get some of that AoE. But we could even see something like Bounty Hunter take the Suicide Soul, Chaos Knight Lina mid, Windrunner take the safe lane, and then something powerful like an Enigma in the jungle. Or they might just pick another support. Anything that can possibly even something like Tidehunter who can basically just pull for them. And we've seen exactly how much farmer support get in the jungle with the right amount of pulling, especially on the Radiant side. But they're going to go with the Ancient Apparition.
Dire team pick.
I almost get the feeling like AA really depends where they're going to throw this Ancient Apparition, whether or not they're going for the defensive trial or not. But it looks like they might be going for the solo mid Windrunner if they're going for Lina and Ancient Apparition. Or we could see Chaos and Ancient Apparition working the safe lane, Lina working the mid lane pull there for the Windrunner, while Windrunner takes the mid, and then have Bounty Hunter take the suicide lane. As for what Dignitas are doing with their Omni Knight, Omni Knight could possibly, well, actually, I kind of doubt he'd be pulling the easy camp, possibly just because we've got Chen there already in the jungle. Unless they're planning on abandoning that suicide lane, which is definitely possible, actually, with this lineup. They could be planning on abandoning that suicide lane, or it could be Omni Knight in the mid. We'll see. Puck could be solo mid, or it could be suicide solo. We will see in just a moment. There we go. Alright, so who's picking one at the moment? So Sony's going to be on the Chaos Knight, Freezer on the Windrunner, Mania's going to be playing Ancient Apparition, Come With Me on the Lina. We see Dignitas, when you see Tides of Time, is going to be playing the Wisp. Actually, we'll call it out now. And who was the final player there for the Radiant side? And we'll have Miggle, the standard, playing the Bounty Hunter. Now, for Dignitas on the Dire side, we have Fogged playing Sven, Tides of Time playing the Wisp, A2000 playing Puck, Way Too Sexy, which his name is not apparently updated, Way Too Sexy there playing Chen, and Snaking is going to be playing Omni Knight here. I think A2000 is usually their suicide play. A2000 likely to be taking Puck into the suicide lane, and in this case I think we might actually possibly be seeing Snaking take the solo mid, but we'll see in just a moment. We'll see in just a moment indeed. Alright, so somebody's got to pause here. Alright, Absolute Legend need the pause for a moment. They're possibly not sure what they're up to actually. Expecting Bounty Hunter to suicide solo, no items to really give anything away. I mean, actually they could possibly be going for an offensive trial. I mean, that's also a possibility. If Chaos Knight goes to the top lane, we could see Lina as well as Ancient Apparition head up there. They do have the stuns, the AoE slow as well with Ice Vortex, and that would help shut down the Sven. And we did see the difference between two Sven games, of course, the other night with no Tidehunter. The first game, Sven did extremely well. Sven did extremely well because he didn't get shut down. He was up against dual and did extremely well. And the second game, Sven got shut down hard. Loda couldn't get much farm, and it just came down to the fact there was an offensive Trillion up against him, and he just could not get much farm at all. It was just more powerful, more dangerous. Although that said, this one does have some nice counter stun. It's just the fact that it will be a dual lane, and it's going to come down to whether or not they can get any farm while Chen gets a couple of levels before he can. Once Chen gets a couple of levels, he can probably help them out, but this could be some trouble for them. And there we go, Chaos Knight is headed top, so they are going for the offensive trial, and it looks like Bounty Hunter going for the safe lane. Me, we're going to be taking the solo mid, as A2000 apparently gone an AFK here. Come with me, forgot to just ask whether or not they were ready to go at the end of that. He's not actually AFK. Absolute Legends, Dignitas said that they are under a bit of time pressure here. They've got to go. We've got an idiot apparently, as Mania would like a shout out to Dement. So would Fogged. So I need to remove the overlay as well, excuse me, while I remember that. Get rid of that. Okay, so Puck, well, actually, this could be a solid mid Puck and could be actually. I'm just wondering, are they planning to go for an offensive jungle here? They could actually be expecting that. Sven, oh, actually Chen, no, Chen's picked up a smoke. Smoke is probably means he's going to end up in his own jungle. I'm just wondering if they're anticipating the offensive try line here from Absolute Legends and whether or not they rotate away. Snaking here has opened up with a shield. Sven has got, what's Sven got there? He has picked up a hatchet as well. Wards on Wisp has been pulled some wards there. Lena's picked up some counter wards to take up to the top lane. Ancient Apparition though, is he going to go top? I think he will. I think they will most likely send everybody top. And of course they want to keep this camp here unblocked because the Radiant side will want to pull this as much as they can to keep the creep equilibrium on, well, in their favour basically. Apparently, Fogged, or rather, one of the Dignitas guys still stuck AFK. But I'm looking at this lineup now. I'm looking at this lineup, and I'm going to say this: Cleave is definitely going to help them out in the late game. Dignitas is going to benefit a lot from the Cleave late game, just because it's going to really help cut down the damage that Sony can dish out. I really don't favour either in the late game, though. It's going to come down to the mid game ganks here for Absolute Legends. Although that said, AL don't really have a natural diffusal blade carrier there. Might even see Freezer try and pick one up because it is really going to help them out against Snaking's defensive spells there. And this is what bothers me most, is the fact that they can simulate, basically Dignitas are going to simulate a lot of early items for Sven through spells, and this I think is going to really impact the amount of fighting that Absolute Legends can force during the early game. They're really going to have to be careful about the amount that they try and gank, because of course the mobility of Wisp as well as his defensive spells, they try and force early team fights. Omni Knight can completely throw a wrench in those plans. Was just his purification is extremely beneficial in the early game, as well as Guardian Angel towards the late game as well. Cuts down a lot of damage. Here we go, it's going to be Fogged. Uh-oh, Tides of Time into trouble. There's the pole feet there. It's not going to proc though, unless they can get a stun off. It doesn't proc. It's only a 1 second stun. A tether away, just dodging the Light Strike array. And Wisp will manage to escape, but now Fogged and Tides up there, they know that they're in a bit of trouble. There's a really aggressive lineup against them. This is why the Ancient Apparition not the best at supporting this tri-lane though. Obviously not having that power stun. If it had that big stun like Jakiro, could have quite easily set that up. Also, unfortunately, only the 1 second stun being picked up there by the Chaos Knight. Finds himself a regen rune, going to get that mana back straight away. Meanwhile, A2000 will actually be taking the solo mid lane. I think they realised after that the Bounty Hunter would be in the bottom lane, and they're going to send Freezer up again. They're going to send Snaking up against Freezer. And this should be fairly easy for him. Now, obviously, he's fairly hard to go 1v1 in terms of a melee hero, so he's going to be pretty much okay. Now, Sven has already dropped a Stormbolt, apparently. This is going to be fairly annoying for him, the fact that he's going to be chewing up mana fairly early on. That said, he will have the extra mana regen there from Wisp and the Tether. You see that Omni Knight getting quite aggressive, realizing, you know what, I can actually go toe-to-toe with this guy. It's not going to be much of an issue. Especially if Freezer just tries to harass him too much, he's just going to drop a purification in his face, although once he gets a couple levels perhaps. And he has actually been pulled some tangos as well. Somebody's sent him some tangos. I think Chen has been sharing a lot of his money. Speaking of which, there we go, Chen spamming the undead minions there. The counter ward being thrown down by Wisp to spot up the enemy wards. In fact, let me just check. Lena hasn't burned any of her wards yet. Looks like they're not too worried about blocking. They're not too worried about blocking this. In fact, has anybody used the Dire side? No, Radiant side. Radiant side appears to have not bought any Observer wards. I was going to say this might have been. This is probably to clear a potential Observer ward here. And what they're trying to do with that Observer ward is essentially just jack the creep pool whenever they try and use it. Whenever the Dire try and use that creep pool, they would then jack it and take it away. See, Helena has tried to remove any wards that might potentially spot their progress through the jungle. Here we go. Here we go. They're going to try and pull here. I actually rather stack first and then pull. Either way, this is probably going to end up working against them. You know, Frieza's opted to go with Janata, an extra early level Janata. There we go, just going to harass there, but really afford to go toe-to-toe with them just yet, as we get another pause here from Dignitas. On the other hand, though, Omni-Knight is getting fairly close to finishing off his soaring, and once he gets that, there is not much that Frieza can do about it at all, and they're having a hotkey issue apparently. He's only about 100 gold shy of that, but meanwhile we're going to have to see Wisp. He's going to try and pull this wave. He's going to succeed in pulling, however. Once he does this and this wave pushes up under the tower, we're going to see these guys sweep around and try and jack that pull in just a second. See, there we go. Mania and Come With Me already heading off into the jungle. They're probably going to go make a run on that just about now. Chaos Knight will back them up in a moment as well. And there we go. Here we go. Moving in. There we go. Lena firing out a Dragon Slave. They're going, you know what? You can pull that for us. We're just going to try and nick these creep from you. I'll get a bunch of them as well. Actually stealing most of those neutral creep there, although Chen does keep one for himself. Meanwhile in the mid, we'll see how they're going in the mid as well. 80,000 goes for a rune down at the bottom. Doesn't find it though, does he? Actually no, it looks like he did get it. Meanwhile, farm-wise though in mid lane, it looks like we're going for how much here? We're sitting on 11 and 3 there for Windrunner, and then 11 and 1 for Puck, so both of them are fairly evenly matched. Although Windrunner appears to be having to spam a little bit harder to stay ahead there. We go Snaking though has picked up his Soul Ring. Well, I think we're going to see Frieza just try and turn up the thumbscrew, just keep the harass on here, try and keep him low, try and discourage him from spamming that Soul Ring too much. But here we go, he's going to probably pop it in just a second. And there we go, here it comes, gets the purification down, does a lot of damage there to Frieza. This is just going to get worse and worse as he picks up his 3rd level in purification. It's going to come fairly shortly. But maybe on the bottom lane we see who's farming better here. We've got 13 and 0 there for Frieza, as well as 21 and 5 there for Snaking. Of course, Snaking does have a fairly easy advantage in this lane. As you can see, he can quite easily just sit up by the creep wave and last hit whatever the hell he pleases at the moment. Now, something that does worry me a little bit here is the fact that Absolute Legends, they're not being that aggressive. And one of the things is it's going to hurt them in the mid game, because as a tri-lane, if they're not picking up kills here, they're losing out on experience as well as potentially farm as well, especially seeing as Tide's getting a little bit out of the pool there. And of course Chen is farming as fast as he can, being a jungler there, but possible. Here we go, they're going to look for a gank here. Can they get a pick off on Wisp? They do need to at least try and pick off somebody here. There's Reality Rift, they're going to go after Wisp, although it's just Sony by himself. Sony now trying to cause some damage, tethering over the trees there. I think this is definitely frustrating them quite a bit. I feel like Sony probably should have gone after Sven. It's a lot harder for him to catch him. We're going to see Tides just drop back. They are at the very least slowing down Sven's farm. Sven sitting there on 13 and 1, actually having to Stormbolt creep. 13 and 1 versus the 22 and 2 there for the Chaos Knight. But like we said, Sven doesn't need that many items, and what he needs early game, he's going to have that provided by the Omni Knight. And I feel like this is going to be a serious issue here for Absolute Legends, the fact that they're not really achieving a lot with this tri-lane. And it's leaving, as you can see, their supports, while Sven himself is losing out on some farm, both the Radiant supports are losing out, whereas Chen is actually getting a fair bit of cash that he needs right now, and he's going to get that early mech, early arcanes, all those good items that he needs to support his team with, whereas Lena and Ancient Apparition really aren't getting very much at all. See if Frieza now having to bottle spam. He's going to send that courier back and pick up another one in a second. He's going to pick up another fully charged bottle in just a moment, and it's pretty much mostly all he can do. Actually, wow, no, he's sending it back to mid. Where is that? Oh, no, okay, no, it is going back to base. I was about to say, where is that courier going? Was he trying to get it to mid, so mid could bottle a rune for him? But it was not the case there. See Sven, though, going to pick up some early power treads in just a moment. Wisp, though, possibly looking for Tranquil. I think Wisp is probably looking for Tranquil Boots there. And Lena now, hoping to get a start for just a moment. About to get... Oh. See, what they're doing here is they're cutting these trees down. And what Wisp can do is actually just use those orbs to scout over the top. And if somebody's camping there, which they often are, then quickly try and take them out with a Stormbolt from Sven, and then just follow up there with a tether. You can find somebody out of position. A nice sneaky little tactic there from Dignitas, but they don't find anything in the end. But now a potential gank on the bottom lane. Invisibility being popped by the Windrunner. They're going to make a run here on the Omni Knight, who does have a purification up though. In fact, he realizes something is amiss. Backs up a little bit, but heads straight back down the lane. This could be a problem here for them. And there we go. Purification is up and running. There we go. There's the stun there from the shackle shot. Power shot as well. But they don't have this shuriken. The mana for shuriken. Purification pop, but the slow there from Janata. Slow now from Windwalk as well. However, of course, the generation aura of power kicking in there. Making trouble there. And there's the dream call from Puck. The silence. The illusory aura. Puck, though, getting shackled. Going to keep him alive here. And we see Frieza now jumping in. The power shot misses. There's the Janata strike as well. And a soul ring and a purification to keep Snaking alive. Snaking almost falling. Winrunner now bottling up. Going to pop out another power shot in a second. So close. Had that first power shot landed there, that would have been the first blood. We see a good response there from Puck, jumping to this lane at the right moment to counter gank. Meanwhile now, Miggle now possibly in some trouble, though Puck doesn't have that much mana. I'm going to see Windrunner just pop her Windrunner and then pop back to mid lane.
First blood.
As, wow, okay, I look away for a second, and Snaking somehow walks straight into that one. I think he probably looked at Omnight, so you know what, he's got no mana, I can go and last hit something, and then just was not anticipating the Soul Ring. Fortunately, it's a bit of a... Not the best of mistakes to make there. Now we've got Spog charging in here. We're going to see a Stormbolt in a second. We've got Chen Creek there, giving a line of sight over the trees. However, Lena now gets a Stormbolt in the face. Lena will get taken out by Chen. Fog now also in some serious trouble, though. Fogged backing up. Can he get away? The neutral creep actually doing a fair bit of damage there. Fog, though, getting sent home by Chen. And now Mania trying to get away. However, Bounty Hunter teleports to the top lane. There's a track kill for them. Tides of Time getting killed by a neutral. No! Chaos Knight killed by a neutral, along with Wisp. A double kill for the Seder Hellcaller. What the hell? Okay, so the Seder Hellcaller gets a double kill there in the middle of that fight. Picking off both Chaos Knight and the Wisp in the middle of that. Taking one from each team. However, Dignitas do get a pair of kills there in return. Picking off both the Radiant supports. And of course, also keeping Fogged. The main thing, of course, also they kept Fogged alive. A good save there from Chen. A nice attempt to run down his opponent. However, of course, he did get cleaned up there by a counter gank there from the Bounty Hunter. This is what I mean. These counter ganks are going to get messy. Meanwhile, it looks like there's a gank on Puck in mid. A2000 in some trouble here. There's a Harasso from Frieza. He's also going to slow him up there with the track. Shuriken, Shackle shot as well. Power shot, phase shift dodge though. Dream Coil goes down, but he's been slowed and finished up by a couple of auto attacks here from Frieza. And in the end, Frieza just diving underneath that tower and tanking some damage, but feeling okay there. Not enough burst damage met out there by Puck. You see Fog there, 500 gold in the bank. Let's bring up the gold per minute now. As you see, the only person really farming over the 300 gold per minute mark at the moment is, of course, Omnight, who does have a very easy lane. But that said, they may be rotating Sony down here in a moment, along with his supports. And the mass stun there from Omnight may not, on Omnight, may not even give him a chance to pop his spells. As it looks like Lena about to regret things, possibly gets slowed down by the Degen, or there's the illusion. Puck jumps in. As you see the ult there from Shen as well. They're going for a bit of a fight here in the top lane as well as Tether stun there on Mania. He's trying to dance back and forth. Does get cleaned up though by Ancient Apparition in the end. Cold feet too much from Fog though, getting a kill there, popping his ult and getting stuck in. So trading a kill there for one on Sven as the double damage gets picked up by Winner. Just going to head back to the mid lane though. But in the end, I think that was a worthy trade there. Wisp giving away a kill, but on the other hand, feeding one to Sven. And Sven, of course, very important in this match for Dignitas. See a Puck though, headed back to me. Puck though, looking at farm right now. Puck 43 and 5, doing fairly well. Winner also 39 and 9, so on a fairly even footing. Meanwhile though, Sven has managed to pick up his farm 39 and 7, which is not a bad effort for a dual lane versus a very offensive triline. 39 and 7, plus he's got a couple of kills as well. He's on 1, 0 and 2. So I'm going to say Sven is doing fairly well for the lane he was up against. I see a potential gank down and bottom. I see Snaking is retreating though. There we go. So this is what I mean. 1v1 with these melee heroes. Not a lot they can do about him. The Degen aura, even with the haste, with the track buff there, the Degen aura is causing problems. And of course the purification is trouble as well. So come with me, actually popping down one of his counter wards at last. They're looking for some, trying to figure out what's going there. I think a potential, okay, now Fog is just being sent home. I was going to say, was that Wisp getting stuck in for a gank, but it wasn't in the end. Meanwhile, speaking of mid though, Tides is in mid. They've got A2000 tracked up, wants to get a double damage on there. A2000 needs to be very careful. He gets shackled there. Meagle could definitely end him there. It's a level 4 shackle. Nasty stuff indeed. Let's check the gold chart at the moment. It is a bit of an advantage there to the dire side. sitting on a 2.5k advantage and a roughly a 4,000 experience advantage as well. We've got to remember that they do have the advantage. In fact, they didn't go for the try. And in fact, jungle there as Lina gets picked off very easily. And in the mid lane, it looks like Miggle finds himself a kill there on Dignitas. Puck gets picked off, making the most of that double damage room. Meanwhile, though, Chen going to push the top lane with the help of Sven. You see Tides also coming. There's that attack speed up. This is what I mean, how they don't really need that Mask of Madness all that badly on him. They might end up getting it anyway. This is only a level 1 overcharge as well. Well, Freeze from the bottom lane. And Freeze has not been as active as I'd like so far. Has had to rotate back to the bottom lane. I just feel that I feel like they absolutely feel like they can't get these ganks off. They just rotated to trying to catch up a farm. We see the push continuing on. As you see, Lina also picked off again. I'm not quite sure what she was thinking. There's no way she can outrun Sven, and Sven, of course, with the tether, all he has to do is run up Stormbolter and then just score a couple of auto attacks later, and she's in so much trouble. It looks like Sven will be going for an early BKB by the looks of things. I think it's going to be a BKB, and what they're going to do is, in fact, use the repel to keep Wisp alive. As we've talked about, I mean, I've talked about this, with the Wisp combo, the biggest weakness to it is, of course, Wisp himself is very squishy and very easy to pick off. But if you use Omni Knight to protect the Wisp, as well as just keep healing him up, if he gets a purification on him while the tether is up, that's going to make Sven so tough to get rid of. And then, of course, you can repel up the Wisp afterwards, or even just throw on the Guardian Angel, and that's just going to make Wisp really, really beneficial here for Omni Knight, and really beneficial as a target for Omni Knight, and really as a buff placer there for Sven. I see Snaky now down the bottom line once again. A power shot coming from Windrunner. Okay, she's just doing a little bit of farming there. This is definitely not a good sign for Absolute Legends. They are a gank-oriented lineup, and they're not doing very much ganking at all. They are getting a couple of counter ganks every now and then, but Dignitas right now are being the more aggressive of the two. They're really getting stuck in, pushing towers, and probably going to pick off a few heroes here as well. We've got a 5-man push. They're going for a bit of a pub train run here. Miggle now does have a haste room pop, so he might be able to scout things out and then duck back. Sees a few things there with a power shot, realizes there's some trouble in the bottom lane, and now we're going to see some mass sports here from Absolute Legends. They're going to try and hold this one off. So A2000 getting ready to team fight there. He's got all these spells up. Level 3 and waning rip, but they're just trying to hold things off with the mass AoE spam here. Power shot as well as Dragon Slave, using the range on that. But now we've got Sven popping the War Cry. Now it looks like they're going to back up track there on the Omni Knight as well. They're just waiting for the right moment there to jump in. The tower's getting fairly low. They don't want to put it down to 9 rates. But the second push now, you see, wow, Omni Knight actually healing up Chen's creep. They're going to blow these mana on that, which, you know, makes sense. They do need that to continue pushing, especially with the AoE spam coming up from the Radiant side at the moment. Here we go, Wisp causes the damage. There's a tether, gets thrown down by Dreamcall, though it's only going to pick up Lynn. The ward's getting thrown down by the Dire side. Now Sven possibly into trouble, although he does get cleaned up there. The heal ineffective, as I believe he got clipped there by the ult there from Ancient Apparition. Now we've got the Guardian Angel getting popped there by the Dire side. 2-for-1 trade at the moment. Now Freezer getting stuck back in. He's going to try and pick off Wisp, making a 2-for-2 trade. Wisp now ducking back to the trees. However, gets healed up by Omni Knight. Freezer has to back off there. The Chen creep still going to town. Omni Knight getting stuck in. A double kill though for Miggle, picking off Puck as well. They're going to get 2-for-2. A Shackle there behind the tower. It's not the best of place. However, Mania about to get taken out. We see Lina go in with a Laguna Blade, takes him out as well. There goes Wisp. And it looks like things are going badly right now for Dignitas. This gank or push rather not going as they planned. And it's nuke there from the creep. Looks like Miggle should be able to get away again. It looks like they're going to take in another hero. Omni Knight still going toe-to-toe. Picks off the Chen. Chen gets a double kill as he gets rid of the Windrunner. And now here comes Sven. Sven is back. Sven with the Mask of Madness. Sven going to town on Sony. Can Sony get taken out? He gets a kill there on Omni Knight finally. However, Sven still in the running. Gets tracked up, and now he can't run him down. And a triple kill for Sven. But Chen has been long dead. However, his creep are just taking out people left, right, and center. And we see here Freezer desperately trying to deny the tower. He gets it off in the end. Illusory Orb is coming. Another nuke gets thrown in. He's spotted up a war cry there from Sven. But Freezer will manage to get away just barely. And in the end there, I'm just going to check the gold chart. In the end, it looks like it retains fairly even there. Of course, so they did pick off. I think a big blow, though, to Dignitas was they lost Fogged fairly early on in that fight. He got caught out behind the tower. And the fact is he got clipped by the Ice Blast. That was a big thing. Mania got off that Ice Blast as Omni Knight went for the purification. Unfortunately, of course, that prevents the heal. So Sven, they were playing on Sven being able to play more aggressive than they wanted him to. And unfortunately, they needed the magic immunity there to get rid of it, but didn't have it available. But they were playing it very fine. They were hoping that they could get that down, but unfortunately, didn't happen. However, Dignitas, in the end, I think they did fairly well. They got the tower, the tower got pushed down at the very end, but a great series of counter ganks there, and Chen just going to town there with his creep. Long dead, but just microing them, and really, I think just people not paying that much attention, hoping that they can pull things off. But now the pub train continues. Dignitas going the mid lane, double shackle there on both the knights in the mid lane. We see the tether being popped out, getting broken. A bit of miscommunication. Stormwalk getting thrown in. Stony hold mode there for Sven, and the ice blast goes in, does nothing though to Sven. Sven giving chase. Lena getting picked off by wards, by the Guardian Wisp there, as also Fog though also getting hit by Cold Feet, getting sent back to base though by Chen. Chen though now in some trouble. We see Freezer going to after him, although Chen still has a couple of creep here. Good current tick off Freezer. Chen also back up, he getting mini stun, pops his ult there as well, going to heal himself up by a lot. Power shot in again, and Freezer decides to back off. Freezer though, looks like he might possibly... This could be a Yasha, although this could also be a Diffusal Blade, and I would not blame them for the Diffusal Blade either. They do indeed need one against the Omni Knight. Very good that they managed to pick him off early here. Now, Chen actually opting to go for the early Vlads. Vlad's, of course, going to help them push a lot, gives Sven a lot of nice lifesteal as well. And on top of that, it seems Omni Knight has been freed up there to pick up the mech instead. A smoke gate coming out from Absolute Legends. They will find themselves a haste rune in just a moment.
Haste.
See Sven still working on his beak. I assume this is going to be a BKB. It's kind of redundant, although they are going to pick off Fog. Fog down to trouble. 2 seconds done, and here comes Cold Feet. Life Strike Array as well. Laguna Blade to top it off. They did not want him surviving.
Be well.
Not just going to chew his way through this lane as well fairly quickly. Now it's Miggle by himself here, just going to nuke down this wave. And this is a fairly good tactic here. Of course, you can delay any push just by spamming this AoE. Meanwhile, Lena, fairly poor. I think this is mostly going to affect... You give it about another 5 minutes or so, and I think we're going to see Dignitas hit their stride though, because we're probably going to see somebody... I think somebody's going to be building a pipe fairly soon. Puck's also going to get an early item as well, and there we go. More items getting popped out. Earner Shadow. It's just the fact that the Radiant side supports just don't have the same level of farm there as their Ice Blast going to be coming in. Only going to hit 82,000 though. So it looks like they have decided to back up, and we see Omni Knight using his Repel to get rid of that Ice Blast damage. I'm just waiting to see who's possibly building the pipes. Drums there on Chen. Sven still working on the beacon. I think he's got the Mithril Hammer, possibly. Didn't buy back. Just, okay, no, he would have lost a bit of gold there, did gank. Just trying to figure out where it might have gone. But a smoke gank here from the Dice side. The Radiant definitely vulnerable to this. They think this is really, really smart for Dignitas. They faked out the Roshan, and now they're sweeping him from behind with a smoke gank. You see here, Absolute Legends, they're looking for them in a rush pit, not expecting this gank here. There's a tether there on Sony, gets hit by the stun. Now we see Guardian was doing a lot of damage, but they're going after Sony. He's going to try and teleport away. Nobody's got a stun on a hand though, and he will get away. The only hero they pick up is Lena. And now they're free to go back to doing Roshan indeed. See the tracks getting popped down there in just a moment. Although the counter gank coming once again. Ice Blast is up if they want to. Lena, of course, getting taken out. But however, they should be able to finish this off in time. Although here comes the counter attack once again. They can see Freezer. Freezer now visible. There's that tether stun. Purification. A shackle gets tossed out. But they pick off the bounty hunter. And hero after hero. But that was really, really... I cannot stress how smart that was by Dignitas. Going in, realizing that, like, even before the Ice Blast come in, they knew that they were about to get spotted because you saw them back off, and only one hero got hit by that initial Ice Blast. They backed off. That was definitely well planned, well executed. They only picked off one hero. Unfortunately, they didn't have the backup stun there to knock off the teleport away from this Chaos Knight, but really well done. And we see Wiz goes in. That was not well executed. I don't know what the hell that was. Oh boy, after such praise I could give them, Dignitas making a terrible error. Throwing Wisp. Obviously it's not a game breaker, but still somewhat embarrassing there. That teleport by Tides of Time. He's like, you know, I forgot something. I forgot somebody. Something. It's like leaving your kids at the mall.
Be well.
And in this case, Tides of Time. Forgetting about Sven. You're meant to bring Sven when you do that. Good plan. Unfortunately, not well executed there. Somebody's asking how low the cooldown on Laguna Blade is. Goes from 70 to 50 seconds, scaling down from 1 to 3. See, Chaos Knight, though, has picked up his Drums of Endurance. Has also picked up some Blaze of Attack. Okay, then. Looks like he's going for that armlet. Not too close to it at the moment, though. Let's check out the 5k advantage there. Gold-wise, for the Dire side, they're still holding that 5k advantage. Also, a 3k experience. You see there, wow, they actually lost a lot of experience to that team fight down in the bottom lane. Obviously, they picked up a lot of kills. Unfortunately, a lot of them were with the Chen creeps while nobody was around. See Power Shot getting thrown out, just trying to delay this push, but here it comes once again. Dignitas on the offensive, going to clean up this tower fairly easy, and we see Sven pop his Warcry, already being repelled up there. Still working, he's picked up the Mithril Hammer now, working his way towards that BKB, and once he gets out, he can throw down the Repel and Wisp, make him really hard to get rid of. Power Shot though, not doing too much damage, having to go through too many creep there. See Lena trying to build herself, I think she's working on some drums as well there. See Chen though, sweeping around in the jungle. Fog now. Gonna go in for the tower number 2. They're Fog moving forward, getting aggressive. Live Lacuna Blade though, hitting Wisp. Wisp healing up. They get the kill on Lena. Ice Blast coming, not gonna hit much though. Fog now still going to town, can't take out Miggle. Miggle popping his Windwall. They're doing a lot of damage. Fog needs to heal soon. Chen popping the heal. Guardian Angel. They popped down the Repel as well. And Fogged. He's going to get a Purification on him in just a second to keep him alive. Possibly even an Urn Charge in just a moment. There we go. There's that Purification. Wisp now going to pop an Urn on himself, I think. Maybe. Nope. Going to hold on to the charges as it looks like they're just going to let him heal up. There we go. There's that Urn heal, although he breaks the tether. Another Silence thrown in there on Miggle. Not Miggle, actually. Sorry, Freezer. And Mania. They do manage to hold off the Rax push. Although that said, I don't think Dignitas were really looking for a Rax there. They're just backing up. You know, it's playing safe. You know, let's get the outer towers. Looks like Fog just going to go up to the top lane and farm that, but he's got enough money for that BKB now. Should be coming out in just a moment. Also picks himself up a TP. A TP, of course, always wants to be carrying one of those at any given moment. See 8,000 and Tides of Time. See Wisp. Actually, rather, Wisp's going to head back up there, and so they're going to leave Puck to his own device. Puck has picked up a Blink Dagger. Puck, of course, incredible. Unless they can get an Alpha Stun off him and then chain it up, Puck is going to be pretty much impossible for them to get now, just because he can phase shift and blink away. And I say that, and then Windrunner kills him. Never mind then, although Lena did actually... Oh, actually, there we go. They got a stun off, and Lena popped a Laguna Blade on him, so there you go. Pretty much instant death there, getting caught out by that stun. But there we go, Sven, BKB done. What will he pick up next? Possibly just a straight up damage item. We'll see in a moment. Chen actually hasn't brought up anything new. I think he's mostly doing the warding for now. Yeah, there we go. He's been doing... I think they've been giving the warding duties now to Chen and letting Wisp just bulk up. You see here, he's been allowed to save cash, has picked up a vitality boost, and of course I need to make Wisp as tanky as possible to make Sven difficult to deal with. In fact, they still have the Aegis too. Omni-Knight, of course, picking up that Aegis in that to Roshan. Why not give Aegis to Sven? Why? Because, well, we'll see in a moment, but let's just talk about this fight here. Is it going to throw at the Stormbolt? Miggle now getting silenced, going to get picked off really easy. Mania also caught it, throws it an Ice Blast, does absolutely nothing. Sven just Hulk modes in his face, pops the Magic Immunity, and no effect at all. But why not give the Aegis to Sven? Well, see, the thing is, Sven is being protected. This is it. Like, you see you see Chen, you see Wisp, you see Omni-Knight, all these heroes are dedicated to basically protecting Chen. They've all got heals, buffs, auras for him. All these heroes are dedicated to protecting Sven and helping him do damage in the fight. And the thing is, without these guys, that's where Sven falls down. So they might as well give the Aegis to the most linchpin hero in the lineup, which is Omni-Knight. You saw there, in that last fight by the tower, Omni-Knight barely saved Sven by popping that Guardian Angel, threw down a Repel in the middle of that as well to keep him immune from magic, and then also, on top of that, then healed him up with Purification afterwards. Without this Omni-Knight, the Sven combo is not nearly as efficient. So I think this is why they've given the Aegis the Omni-Knight, because they say, you know what, even if the enemy team does a huge Alpha Strike on Sven, we're going to be on hand to protect him. We need to worry about them doing an Alpha Strike on Omni-Knight and trying to pick him off quickly. And now we see here the Rax push by the Dire side. They're going to go up to the bottom Rax here, and now Absolute Edge, they're trying to scramble some sort of defense, but there's a good push going on. Oh no, actually no. Dignitas decided to back off as the spam starts to come through. Going to wait for the next wave of creep. Getting tracked up there, spotted up by that track. But they have a lot of attrition power here. Plenty of heals available to them, as well as mana there from Arcane Boots and Tether from Wisp. Although it looks like they're just going to back off, in fact. It looks like they are indeed just going to back off, collect a few different creep. Check the gold advantage. Around about 7.5k advantage of smoke gank here from the Radiant side though. 4k experience lead there for Dignitas as well.
Invisibility.
And they're looking for a target to pick him off as well. Can they find anything here? Doesn't really look like it. They smoked up. Don't really get anything out of it either. As though, and there we go. There's the crits there on Spen. Looks like he's going straight for damage now. We'll be building that Daedalus. Big crits all day long. Omni Knight also bulking up there, picking himself up a Reaver. Looks like he's trying to build a heart just to keep himself in the fight as long as possible. And here Wisp is about to TP, and there we go. They're going after Chaos Knight. Nice ward there, spotting him up. Blink up onto the high ground there by 80,000 as well. Not even needed, but nice backup for them anyway. And it looks like they've got the pick off there. Do we have Chaos Knight with a buyback? No, we do not. He's 200 gold shy, and this is a good 30 seconds for Dignitas to do something. They can manage it too, especially with the damage that they've got available. We still have one left on God's strength there. Plenty of time for Fog to tear this tower apart. Here we go. The tether getting thrown down there by Miggle, shackling them together, and see Sven now. No, there's that repel though, knocking it off.
Fear nothing.
We're getting thrown in once again. Fog now moving back in. Gonna pop his war cry as well. Gonna get the speed buff out of it. The Chaos Knight will be up in just a moment. Will they stay and continue to try and push? Looks like they're committed to try and kill this tower. As Shackle goes in. Nice dodge there by Puck. However, it does collect Chen anyway. There we go. Dream Call thrown down. The Waning Rift as well. Just gonna throw in some auto takes. Ice Blast gets tossed in. Doesn't really do a whole lot though. Guardian Angel gets popped. Here comes Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight backing up though. Stormbolt getting thrown in. There's the heal there from Chen. As it looks like Snakey has been followed, been pinned down there. Has lost his Aegis. However, he's got a lot of health regardless. Lina going for the Laguna Blade, takes out the Omni Knight, and this could be an issue indeed. Sony now taking a lot of damage. Sony trying to back up there, an illusory orb from Puck, and Fog is going to pop the Mask of Madness and run for his life. But however, Bounty Hunter getting 4-star forwards. Looks like he's going to try and pick off Chen. Chen, of course, tracked up, ready to give away a lot of cash. His Stormbolt being thrown out there by Fog. Can they get a Shuriken off? He will manage to pick off the Chen just in time, and Fog continues to flee. Puck also managing to back off there. Looks like he's picked up a point booster. Looks like he's possibly going for an Argon himself. This is definitely interesting. Normally we see Puck at this point in time. They often go for a 4-star for a Yules just to increase their mobility and make them even harder to take out. But in this case, Puck, well, he could actually be going for the Yules in a second, and he might just be holding the point booster as a nice mana and health booster. But we'll see. Now, Sven has picked up and Crystallis still saving up cash for the rest of it. What is Chaos Knight picked up? Chaos Knight does have an armlet there, so a nice early damage item. I'm going to say though, Sven of course is going to be a lot tougher to deal with though. He's got a ton of damage, he's got crits, and he's got the backup there from his team, whereas really, you see Chaos Knight doesn't have that same advantage there, and now he's taking a ton of damage here. There's that God Strength doing a lot of damage, as well as the Guardian Orbs, nuking him down, but the double stun there from the tether as well, pinning down the Chaos Knight. Meanwhile though, top lane, Freezer going to try and do some damage up here, and for Omni Knight not really caring too much, pops to, oh wow, there's the repel, gets popped, not really doing a whole lot though, as it gets purged off in just a second. Power Shot going to come through again, Miggle getting picked off. A great counter gank there from Sven, as well as the Wisp. They charge in, their tether gets broken though. It looks like Wisp is going to go back by himself or not. The tether gets recharged up there and they will get sent back together. Stun there, unfortunately. Come with me, getting ganked once again. Throws down the stun. It's not going to be enough though. There we go. Sven going to pop the war cry, and they should be able to run down Lina, especially when we see the tether come up in a second. There we go. Although the Guardian Wisp, the Guardian Orbs are enough to run him down. Chen also going to find Freezer and then immediately run away. Does not want to go toe-to-toe with the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter has got that defusal, and it's going to make it very difficult for Chen to run away, as we can see there. Even, there we go, pops his ult to try and keep himself alive. Going to nuke down Freezer. Freezer now getting dust up. Here comes the counter-attack of Purification there. He's going to try and teleport out, but they don't have anything to cancel it. And he will manage to sneak away there. An Ice Blast coming in. Doesn't find anybody. No, it does not. And he was probably a little bit hopeful anyway. They've all got too much health regardless. Meanwhile, Sven pushing the bottom lane alone here has just bought up the rest of his Daedalus. Daedalus getting popped out now, and oh boy, is Sven going to hit hard or what? They're going for Roshan number 2 now. Tether getting snapped. Again, slight miscommunication, but they are going after this tether once again. And the question is whether or not the Radiant will try and scout this out, or even if they do dare try and fight them down here by the Roshan pit. See here, it looks like it's going to be a fairly simple Roshan attempt for them. There is some kind of movement being mustered here by Absolute Legends, but it's going to be way too slow to do anything. And I think, again, this time around they do give it to Sven. I think they've realised Sven is so fat right now, if they can just keep him alive, he's going to hit so damn hard. And the reason they're giving it to Sven this time around, I think, is mostly because Omni Knight, they've realised he's not going to be as useful because of the Purge there. And the Purge is going to make it much harder for Omni Knight to actually protect Sven outside of just using Purification. So this time around, this is why they've transitioned it to the Sven instead. Eagle now going after the top lane, just going to farm this. Power shots up, just going to steal all of them. Realises though, I've got to get back to the bottom lane. We've got some trouble down here. The push is coming. And Fogged not going to have God Strength up for this one. That said though, he's going to hit hard enough on his own anyway with a couple of buffs there. You're going to pop the War Cry, the Ice Vortex thrown in for good measure, getting nuked there. Fogg now backing up, needs some heals, although taking a fair bit of damage. And we've got Purification getting tossed down there, so they're going to just charge in. Disjoint there from Puck, although Fogg now going to town, that overcharge there, allowing Fogg to tear his way through down, throws down the stun, gets tracked up, gets killed though, will pop back up in a second. Shackle there on Omni preventing him from healing. Dream Call and come with me. A stun goes in for Lena, doesn't hit anything, they're just going to focus on the tower. Stun snaps there on Lena. And they're just going to go after the buildings here. They know what they need to kill to win. And now Chaos Knight moving in, another Shackle there on Sven. Sven get a reality ripped in, needs some backup here. Illusory Orb tossed in, a heal there from the Chen. And now Fogg will get picked off again. And possibly tied to time as well. This Diffusal Blade making all the difference. A gem gets dropped there by the Dire side. And a Diffusal Blade going to come into play in just a moment as well. And there we go. Going to slow down Snaking. Snaking now in some serious trouble. Illusory Orb being thrown in once again, but they will pick off Snaking. And how things have changed, of course. The big counter to Omni Knight. It's one of these, a Diffusal Blade, still in level 1. Frieza has time to get up a level 2 on his seat, saving cash as well. Having picked up a whole bunch there from that fight on top of it. Omni Knight, they're working on a heart. That said, though, once we see Sven buy himself some natural survivability, he's got the damage now, got the attacks bit. I think he just needs to focus on getting himself, maybe pop in a heart, get something like that in there. And once he gets that, he should be fine. The issue is right now, of course, that he's lost those defensive spells and he's becoming fairly easy to pick off. Will we see a Diffusal Blade? No, not necessary. Puck now going to try and get rid of his opponents. However, he's going to be forced to Illusory Orb away as Chen gets picked off. And now the counter-attack from Absolute Legends. We see the BKB being bought here on Bounty Hunter has also picked up a Vladimir's offering to help out the Chaos Knight. See, Mania though has managed to pick up 4 staff. Lena as well, working on her own, has got her own set of drums. The blink in from Puck, just going to try and pick up a couple of heals. Raining Whipped as well. There we go. Stormbolt going to hit Frieza. The stun there snapping as well. Mech gets popped there by the winner. They're trying to back up here. Now Frieza charges back in, throws down the slow. Possibly going to get picked up here by Orbs. Can they hit him? No, he gets away there just barely. And it looks like the counter war getting tossed down in the wrong direction. Sven finding himself a regeneration rune. Tether forward there from Wisp. Wisp going after Lena. Lena though, going to teleport away to safety. No stuns here to knock her out. And looks like Fogg just going to wind up at the bottom and just going to farm up this nice big wave of creep with his cleave. Got 2.1k in the bank there as well. So close to taking out this rack. So I think they're going to go on the push for the bottom line again. They're going to make another run at it in just a moment.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Omni Knight still working on that heart at the moment. Chen now. Chen becoming a little less relevant right now as it looks like Omni Knight. They are going to head bottom. I-2000 also headed down there. Is also still working. No, it looks like he is going to be rushing the Argon Scepter. Has picked up multiple parts for it. I find that somewhat surprising. It's not a usual build there. And said, of course, A2000 is well known for his deviant builds. They go in different directions. Of course, he's one of the few people who rushes. Instead of going for the Orchid with BKB first on a Broodmother, he's one of those people who actually rushes the Mantis style and Broodmother. Much prefers that. There we go. Sven now Hulk moding up. Going to go to town on this tower, on this Bract. However, there's the glyph being popped. The counterattack coming in. He is going to need some extra defense here, as he will actually manage to take that up with the BKB. Of course, BKB does overcome the Purge, and he's going to possibly take out Sony. No, not barely. Just gets away. The Dragon Slave getting thrown in. Meanwhile, the Ice Blast comes in once again. Repel gets tossed down. No, it hasn't been tossed down there. Vogue now still vulnerable. The Repel gets thrown down. Omni Knight instead gets picked up there by the Cold Pit, but they get what they came for. They pick up the racks. And they're going to go for the radiant one as well, the range one as well. I figured they might try and sweep, but it looks like they're just going to try and pick the range one. And now they're going to sweep towards the mid-racks. Of course, the mid-tower very vulnerable here. They could quite easily pick this off. Don't need to wait for the creep wave or anything. A shackle forwards. Once again, we see Sven getting picked up by it. Once again, there we go. There's the purge there on Sven. BKB not for 36. They get the tower kill though. They're going to try and disengage. Gets dragged back there by Reality Rift. Stunned as well by the cow spot. Fog gets in trouble, gets healed up by Chen, throws in his own stun, getting hit by the cold feet. 4-star forwards, actually gets away from the cold feet. Guardian Angel going to town there, looks like he can charge for Tether as well. Tether snaps, they've got the repel on him though. BKB up in 10 seconds, might cover him for long enough. Gets healed up by the Shadow Urn on top of that. Come with me now, throws out a stun, misses. Mania in a bit of trouble, backing off though. Puck blinks forward, gonna try and pick on Mania. Cold feet on Puck, Puck gets hit by Reality Rift and stun, gonna get picked up underneath the tower. Puck gets picked off. However, they're going to get the racks here most likely. Ult up for the Sven, gets healed up. Going to pop his BKB. No, saves the BKB. Repel instead. Waiting for a purge to get popped. And they decide to back off. They get the melee racks and they back up. Nicely played there by Dignitas. Picking off 1.5 racks. But they get the ones they need. They get the 2 melee racks. And Absolute Legends suddenly really on the back foot. Something severe here. And something they lack is going to be some AoE. They don't really have huge amounts of... They've got Lina and Windrun. And that's about it for their AoE to drive back these creep waves. It looks like Chaos Knight couldn't decide where he's going. Picks up some early armor just to help defend himself against Sven's damage, and it looks like he's picking up a BKB as well, which is definitely necessary to deal with his stuns. As unfortunately, Frieza walks straight into that and gets picked up by a mass gank there, and this could be the end. It looks like they're going to look for top lane now. Bottom lane is already pushing. They're going to try and pick up Orange. Orange though realizes they're coming. Sony decides to back up, teleports away. However, Dignitas, they're looking for the creep wave and they just want to push down this tower here. Puck on his way back as well.
Silence.
So the tether up there on Dignitas. They are going to keep Fog repelled up there. They're going to try and use that to bait at the repel. There's the repel. No, he's got a BKB up if he needs to get shackled first. So really need to pop that BKB. Light strike away as well. Pops the BKB. Now baits out a whole ton of spells. Puck getting charged in though. Phase shift might be into trouble. Illusory orbs out, so I hear the teleport there. As it looks like they're taking Fog. Fog gets sent home to heal up, and they're going to bring him back here with the Wisp ult. And they're going to teleport in behind them in just a moment. They're trying to pick up Omni-Knight. Omni-Knight though repelling up. Puck though going from the side, throws out the Illusory orb. Decides to stay hidden in the trees though. And now they're going to come from behind. Here comes Sven. He's back in. God's strength. Gonna go to town. Gonna try and pick him off. Pecks off the Windrunner. They've already taken out Lina. There's Sony dead as well. And this looks like another Rax coming up. They pick off Ancient Apparition. And it's Bounty Hunter against the world now. What can he do? I don't think he can do anything. He can't even deal with these creep waves. The level 2 Diffusal Blade has been picked up. But the GG is called. They know it's over. And nicely played there by Dignitas, sending Sven home and then bringing him back, and a counterattack from the rear is what sealed that deal in that fight. But in the end, that was Dignitas taking a 40-minute game. Took a little while, took longer than they expected possibly, but Sven doing well again for a second night in a row. So anyway guys, we will be moving into game number 2 after a short break, and we'll see whether or not Absolute Legends can defend and take it to 3 games, or if Dignitas will take a quick 2-0 sweep here. I don't say very much. I really feel that early game hurt them though. That try and that didn't do anything. See, Lina still trying to build herself an early item. Ancient Apparition got all of a 4-star. You compare that to Chen. Chen got himself some items there. Got himself the Vlad's Offering. Also did a bulk of the warding. And then of course Wisp. Wisp picking up some nice couple of early items as well. Also Chen managing to bulk up with some early items for a Scepter. An Arcanum Scepter on top of that. But I really feel that early game try did not go as they planned at all. See there, where Wisp ended up getting? Wisp ended up, yeah, there we go. He managed to pick up some really good defensive items. They had 50 health from that as well, from the Vitality boost. But anyway, guys, game number 2 coming right up.